But even if it goes onto your hands, that chlorine and the fluorides that they put in there, I know that they're still, chemicalizing the water here, and they're still, we're, in Canada, we're still not up to speed of what's happening. They're cleaning out the United States, and I know that the United States will be free and clear of all contaminants, first, because these other countries, they will be dealt with, once they get the United States or the Republic organized and to where they want. They're going to start, moving the global alliance into other countries. And it'll probably be Canada, Mexico, and obviously Venezuela and Colombia, which is happening now, right? They don't care. I mean, they're going to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, and anybody that goes against that is going to be terminated. And that's exactly what's happening right now. They are basically denazifying Iran. My diet consists of a crock pot. Okay, that's what it is. I mean, and I'll put things in there and I just let it cook and simmer. I like my favorites just basically cheap. You don't have to go to expensive beef. You can go to chuck beef or round or whatever you want, and put some fat in there. Like I like the beef fat. Throw it all in there and throw like 2 onions in there. Chop them. Don't chop your onion fine. Keep them nice big flakes like that. Your onion. Throw it in the crock pot and salt and pepper. I use Accent, which is really good. It breaks down, just use the Accent. This stuff's really good. It's stuff that I got really good reviews on it anyways. And you throw that in there, and you can put some, if you want to top it off to get that little flavor, little kick in it, you can throw, I just put some soy sauce in there, but you can throw some hot sauce in there too. Just not too much though. And that's a great, great dish. Okay. And that gives you all the power and protein is needed. Not to mention it's a great flavor. And you can do that with different dishes and stuff like that. Throw the whole chicken in there. Do the same thing with the chicken. Let's just let it, going on a slow cooker is the way to cook. Because, everything else, with the frying and stuff like that, it's not as healthy. How you doing, Skaska? Yeah. The fall, yes, the old has to fall before the new comes in, yes. And this is why the big transition, what's happening right now, that's going to freak out a lot of people, a lot of sleepers out there, a lot of NPCs that are stuck on their credit cards and stuck on their mortgages and stuff like that, they don't care if they take, 15, 20 jabs with the boosters. They don't care. They just don't care. And I don't even know how they're alive. But I think what has happened there, since the 2020 assault on humanity, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., along with a lot of other ones, got a handle on it. And they have burned all the old mNRA, damaging cocktail out there. They burned it all in incinerators. And they're just basically doing an IQ test and replacing all that bad cocktail with saline solution, okay, or maybe even vitamin C. But eventually, because the humanity has a hard time accepting new ideas and new things in their world. Humanity has to be drip fed. Okay, it's only the intuitives and the I call them, they want to call us the black sheep. That's fine. You can call us the black sheep, but it's only us that have the God-given, intuition that has been given to us to realize that things are not really always what they are and what they appear to be. Okay. Also told my doctor, NHS, by man and many others, and I'm not going to say that word. And so I don't trust the NHS, and I don't know what the NHS is. But I know what you're saying. There's a huge amount of attacks going through by the law courts and Supreme Courts and stuff like this that are going to basically terminate Big Pharma and all the money that they have squirreled away and stolen from humanity. And they have to do that by the law or by the by through the truth judicial system in order to make these claims in Supreme Courts to get all the money back for the people based on the damages that they have done to humanity. So they will be wiped out financially. There's a lot of things going on, with there's a huge attack on climate change now. Nobody buys into it. Nobody believes it anymore. And that's the whole great part of the Great Awakening that is happening on their beautiful planet, that they are not, nobody's buying into their BS anymore. Okay. So they're not receiving any funding for it. So they're trying to change their tactics. But every time they change their tactics, people are waking up to it because they don't trust them. They just don't trust them anymore, right? So be prepared. Like July 4th was, that was where the race for freedom, the gun went off, was July 4th, 24th, or July 4th. Okay, 2026. So we're going to see in the next 12 months all kinds of things changing. Okay, they're not going to come out and say, hey, Mr. Smith, here's a check in your bank account, whatever. It's just going to start happening, and that's what's happening right now. We're switching out of the old SWIFT system, the old central bank system, and we're moving into the quantum financial system. And if the banks don't go along with it, they're going to be shut down, and the banks are going to they're going to be turned into ATM machines, and they're going to be spitting out U.S. Treasury note or American Treasury note. Okay, and that's going to go for all the Americas. I imagine there will be European, gold-backed Treasury notes as well. There'll be Asian gold-backed Treasury note. Okay, so everybody's worried about the migration and everything that's going on. You will have to go back in order to collect your money. You'll have to go back to your birth of origin, your birthplace. So that's basically what it is, and I'm going to have to do the same thing. I have my life is in the Philippines when I'm not here. I will never give up my my Canadian citizenship because I was born here. I was born in Canada. And that's just the way it's going to be. But that doesn't stop us from traveling anywhere we want. We're going to have the money to do all that. We're going to have the money to help change and heal our beautiful planet. We're going to have money to help heal people that are in need, because there's going to be a lot of people out there that we're going to be able to help that they can't get to because they do not have any type of record of their existence, right? It's going to take time. Yes, keep your pew-pews. Keep your ammo. My buddy says, well, and I said, well, listen, I've got some of this here. Can I trade for some of that, right? And then he comes back, and he comes back, he says, well, you can never have enough ammo, right? I says, I get it. But, when you got overload on this, you want to trade for something else? there is a network out there. Okay, we don't have to, get permission from Big Daddy to do our trading or negotiation. It's none of anybody's business. Having a gun or ammo is your God-given right. And what they're trying to do is take that right away from you. Q, are we going to have to go back to our birth state? No. If you're American, you're American. So if were born in LA and you live in New York, you'll be fine. It's the countries, okay? And I think if I have moved from British Columbia, say down to Florida or into Nevada or whatever, I'll be okay as well, because we're all part of the Americas. There's 36 countries. I think there's all going to be, and I think maybe they will do a split. There will be the South American continent will become its own kingdom eventually. But as of right now, I think the commander or the military is dealing with 36 states inside the kingdom of the Americas. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be Venezuela of America. It's going to be Cuba of America, Mexico of America, Canada of America. You know what I mean? That's how it's. We're just got the cabal has twisted up all these names and screwed it up, and did put these names out there to misidentify things and give you misconception and lie to you, and this is where this retraining our brains, even down to our own language, is going to have to be looked over. This is why they're, went in underneath the Vatican back in the day and captured all the old scripture, all the old art that has been stolen for hundreds of thousands of years. I don't know how far it goes back, but it goes back thousands of years, even before before the Romans. Like when the Romans were doing the things that they're doing, when Rome fell, it fell into the hands of the Vatican. Okay, that's how that worked, and the Vatican became its own country, as so did the financial districts of London, and so did the DC, the District of Columbia. What does that even come into? I mean, how it's a district of criminals, and they had its own country and all that. And there's many states out there that there was, because the original signing. This is actually quite important. Yes, yeah, the original signing of the 1776 Constitution, okay, was signed with only 13 states. Okay, there was only 13 states that were basically included into that divine Constitution. So how many states do we have now? You know what I mean? There's like probably 50 plus 36. There's 86 states minus 13 is like 73. There's 73 other states that have to sign into the Constitution, the divine Constitution, and that's being done right now in order for to have the people in those states, countries, whatever you want to call them, protected by the divine Constitution and given our God-given rights back to us, right? This is all the things that are being happening behind the scene. How you doing, Stone? How's it going, Emma and Tommy and Linda? Donald, how are you? And Glennis? How things going? How you doing, Hannah? Mary Papa. How's it going, Linda? Hey, Sean. Yes. Any questions? How you doing, Contessa? Shoba, yeah. And CLH, how are you? Emma? Yep. Put the questions in capital letters for me, please. How's it going, Phyllis? The RV, when? The RV is when the EBS goes off. And the EBS, like I said, the actor Trump will, he'll exit, and the EBS is going to be right behind that. And once the EBS hits, it's going to zero out everything. It's going to shut down everything, and then of course the new transfer of wealth, the RV, and all this stuff will happen after that. Yeah. Yeah, it could be still 10. The Vietnamese dong could be still 10-1 if you go through a redemption center. Remember, gang, extremely important. You're going to be attacked. You're going to be tried to be fooled. You're going to be tried to be scared, manipulated, scammed. The war is just beginning. And this is what I'm trying to prepare everybody for. To not trust and use your discernment, but do not trust anybody out there, not even your family. And sometimes your family is the biggest enemy. Alexx, for the drink, the canal, I'm not sure what you're meaning by that. And the clove, the cinnamon you mean. And the clove, did they have to be, no. I'm not sure exactly what your question is, but I'm just saying you can go down to the grocery store, the big shopping center, whatever, and just go into the spice area and get your cinnamon sticks and get a big bag of cloves. And I think, totally you're going to be maybe paying, $14 for everything. And that'll last you like a month. And you don't have to drink it every day like me. I mean, I sip on it because I'm trying to stay healthy. But like I said, you got to stop your cigarettes. You got to stop your drinking alcohol. You got to stop any type of pharma drugs that you're using. You got to transition out of it and all the poisons that you're putting in your body. You got to stop washing in the shower if you're on city water. Now, if you're out in the country and you got your own well, hey, have at her. Go out there and shower all you want. No problem. As long as they didn't come along and contaminate or dilute your well with chlorine. When is Canada going to get rid of these globalists? Well, that's going to be up to the military. The Global Alliance, and I believe that our General Flynn is controlling the northern border. Yeah. It'll be up to him maybe. But everybody is still under the upper brass global alliance that is maybe connected with the Galactic Federation. And all that's going to come out. You can listen to Ishmael Perez on that. He's very, very well informed when it comes to the galactic level of it. I'm more in tune of the everyday going on and trying to get throw out the lies and bring in the truth. I'm trying to go through this transition or getting the information out there for this transition. Yeah. You have to travel next month and we'll be okay. Yeah, I'm traveling, in the month and a half or 2 months, whatever. I'm not going to stop my world unless they're shutting down the airports. Right? I don't, we all have to make that decision at the time. But, I've already bought my tickets, and I'm already planning on going back to the Philippines. And I'm hoping all this is going to be shut down or we get through the ABS and the RV before then. Mm-hmm. How you doing, Mary? Yep. You're very welcome. I gather up all the information. I've been gathering up information in my brain from 9/11. Okay, and I just want to go back for all the newbies out there. I was a structural engineer for 11 years in Japan. I built buildings from Hokkaido down to Okinawa, all throughout Japan. I learned the language over 11 years from 1985 to 1996. And, I was basically single then, and it didn't matter if I was back in Canada or whatever. I basically lived out of a suitcase for 11 years. But I would have to always fly I was actually not just a structural engineer, but I was actually hauling money from Japan, because that's the way they pay their contractors or suppliers or whatever. So a lot of times I'd have to take that money with paperwork or whatever and have it transferred, jump on a plane and go back to Vancouver and give it to my boss at that time, which his name was Mark Ando. He was for Douglas Homes, which I don't know what's happening with them, whatever. I quit them in 1996. But I did go back a couple of 3 times, just doing some, independent work. But I learned all that. I learned everything, so it's been gathered up basically back since 1985. But when 9/11 hit, I had transformed and I was doing a little bit of contract work after my my business or employment with Douglas Homes, and that's when I was there when 9/11 hit in New York. And I had other guys. I mean, after 11 years, you get to know guys, right? And you speak in the language or whatever. And all the structural engineers that I knew, that I had acquired to know as friends, and back in those days were drinking buddies, and wherever they were, I mean, it'd be, we all got together, and it wasn't like we had a cell phone or anything. We were doing everything by faxes, by the fax machine or the hotel phones, whatever, right? And nobody could put anything together properly. So we started digging in there, and that's when I first seen, Trump come onto the scene, and he was saying the same thing we were, as he was a builder, and he says, and that's the first time I see it. So I was relating to the things that he was saying. He was the only guy out there that was making any sense. Bush was saying stupid shit by, well, we got to attack this or we got to attack that. I said, well, hang on a sec, stop. And then, of course, they demonized, Osama bin Laden. I mean, I walked through all of it back in those days. And, I says, this is getting, really crazy. So they're starting a war because, these buildings got taken down by these planes. It didn't even make sense. I mean, it doesn't, or we knew that you cannot melt 1 foot thick steel with aviation fuel. We knew back then. Anyways, how you doing, Mike? What about beer? Well, you're talking about the alcohol. No, all alcohol is bad. Okay, simple as that. I mean, and it's in moderation. I mean, you don't even know what the poisons they put in beer. They say it's clear, it's clean, whatever. No, it's not. You take a look at a cigarette and how many, there's 1,000 different contaminants inside of a cigarette. There's 1,000, maybe 100 different contaminants inside of a beer. I mean, it goes through, anything that's manufactured has got contaminant in it. How you doing, Luce? We have to cleanse our bodies, okay? I know it's not easy, right? I mean, listen, I lived through the 60s, and they has an old saying back there, if you remember the 60s, you just weren't there. I mean, I know what it's like to try to, get clean. I still have one daughter that's still not 35 years old. She still can't get her shit together. Yeah. Now she's in prison. She will be there till December. And yeah, this is the things that, moms and dads have to go through. My other 5 kids they're doing fine. I got one out there that's, but she's a, what do you call she's a free spirit, right? Yeah. You put a skin, something like that, on a shower head on your showers. Okay. I don't know if that helps, but I would, if it helps, it helps. Okay. But even the soaps that you use are contaminant. They have poisoned everything. Okay, Billie Jean. They have poisoned everything. So we have to change our ways. I have a bowl, a metal bowl, what I put reverse osmosis water in there because I know it's clean. Then I put hydrogen peroxide, probably an ounce of hydrogen peroxide in, and a cup of white vinegar, and maybe an ounce of baking soda in that bowl. And I get a big, nice white cloth and string it out, whatever, and then just do a total body wipe. And you come out extremely clean. And you can do that morning. You can do it at night. You can leave that bowl there all day, and it's still got all the medicines in it, right? You can hang up your whatever, or just leave your washing rag in there. Leave it in there all day, and then just wipe yourself down throughout the day because it's hot and you're sweaty and whatever. And what you're doing is not just cleansing the body and all the particulates on your body and skin. You're actually, that skin is absorbing all those alkaline products that goes into your body that helps kill the parasites. So that's my practice, right? I'm not going to use anything that the Matrix has thrown at me. I have dismantled myself from the Matrix. Okay? I don't even have a phone number. Why do I need a phone number? To have them call me and harass me or try to sell me shit that I don't need? Nah. If I want something, I'll go out and buy it. And you know how quiet it is here when I'm recording? There's no phones going off. No, my attention is totally on the family. Okay? Okay, but I take painkillers. Do I have to stop that? Well, painkillers from what, though, Luce? I can't see your name. I can't see your name. What's the painkillers for? I can help clear the problem up. Maybe. How you doing, Becky? How's it going, Rebecca? Yeah, I will get to my questions on Messenger. Yeah. And I'll go into the message area there and try to answer as many questions as I can, yeah. But let me know if people are taking, Mike, well, I started yesterday, but did drink coffee today, no solids. Okay, and that's fine. Keep the sugar out of your coffee, keep the milk. I mean, the milk's fine, but you got to go to refined raw milk if you can, or try to get it from the farmers. I know it's a pain in the butt, but we're being contaminated from all, especially in Canada. The United States, at least in the United States, they're cleaning it up. If you're using painkillers, it's destroying your guts. Okay? And the painkillers are for what? What I'm saying to everybody, you know what? Start drinking clove water. Take, one of those big jars and put 16 to 20 cloves in there. Put 2 cinnamon sticks in there and start drinking it. Leave it in there for 12 hours and you'll see it turn into tea. And once you drink that whole thing, don't take the cloves out. Don't take the cinnamon sticks out. Just pour more water in it. And you're allowed maybe two times to fill up that water twice, or fill up the jar twice. And it will still bleed out the medicines for you. And drink that. And then when that's done after the second one, throw the cloves and cinnamon sticks out and replenish it. Fill your water up again. And I have found that to be the best cleansing. And it's even taken away my ACL knee pain. I don't have any knee pain. I get a little bit of the, kink here and a kink there. I'm 71 years old, right? But nothing to what it was. I was in worse shape at 50 than I am now. Trust me, I was. How you doing, Fien? The military has guys that don't speak English or French and are not Canadian. Yes, I know. Yep. Do you think they have any chance of going against Canadian patriots that are fully armed and malicious? I don't think so. It's a scare tactic. They're going to try to go, if anything happens, they'll try to go around and seize up all the guns. And all the people have to do, especially these, the gun owners out there, why did you even register with them? Like, it's none of their business what you own. Absolutely zero. And, why should you even have a PAL or a FAC? Well, like, it's your God-given right to own a gun. You're a taxpayer, which you shouldn't be paying, but you're not breaking any laws. You're not harming anybody. You follow the rules. So you're not harming anybody. So why are they trying to, put authoritarian rules on you? Stop it. You got to stop this stuff. The government is your enemy. And the more that we capitulate, the faster you and your children and your children's children will be in jeopardy. You got to stand up to these governments. What's that old saying says? Yeah, Ishmael. It's called it. His name okay. Here, I'll write it out. Okay. By the way, your body heals itself. Okay. Your body heals itself. Okay, I'm going to put it out there. I know it's backwards. Can you see it? Ishmael. Ismeal. Perez. Okay? Ismeal. Ishmael. Perez. Perez. Okay? And have a good listen with him. He's very well informed on the galactic end of it. He's taken us above and beyond Star Trek level, and I listen very closely to what he says. Yes, it's Ishmael Perez. Yes, not quite spelled right. It's not a double R. It's just one R, and Ishmael has no H in it. But you got him. Yep. Thank you. There you go. You got it. Thank you, Fiona. One of Ishmael Perez videos came up on my algorithm last night. Yep. I never heard of him before. Well, that's because you are your vibration and you're advancing. You're going from 3D to 5D. Like, we are officially in 5D now. Officially. Which is that's huge. That's changing mankind, going from 3D to 5D. And the galactics that are out there are absolutely ecstatic. They are absolutely unbelievable how fast humanity has risen from the dead. And we are coming awake. We're becoming alive. And we are starting to see all the hate and the negative, and and the lies that we have been trying to follow, just by and what it's done to. I mean, listen, if these people or things that were controlling us or ruling us, and all these authoritarians that were out there, if they were just doing things for humanity, do you think we would be in the state that we're in right now? Do you think that we would be in the state of mind that we are, or the amount of people that have died over hundreds and hundreds of years? Do you think all that would exist? No, they're not our friends. Nothing about them is our friends. How you doing, Raj? RAAJ. Okay. What do I think will happen with Quebec? It's going to be just fine. It's going to be part of Canada. It's America. Just like Louisiana. Just like New Orleans. It's big French community, right? It's where they'll hang out. They speak. There's places in Louisiana that's all they speak is French, because Quebec want to separate from Canada. It got nothing to do with that. They are all they all are the Americas, and of course the French, having the brainwash ideology that they have, there will be resistance. Of course, they want to keep their identity, and they will keep their identity. But the bottom line is, America. It's been signed into Confederation 1871, and it goes back even before that. Canada was never ratified. We never, said any peace deal or any treaty with any First Nations out there. This is why First Nations have turned, fighting for their rights and their money, whatever. But over the years, the First Nations have become just a bunch of gluttons. And they do things exactly what the government does because they get money for it. They got worse corruption in the First Nations than the federal government does, because they're they're parasites that feed off of the government federal funding and money, and not give it to their people. It's always the people at the bottom that get SHIT on, right? Yeah, Ishmael Perez is very good. I mean, who are the guys that I listen to? I'm going to tell you right now. It's the guys or the people or the women that have physically been involved for at least 20 years. Maybe some of them all their lives. Gene Decode was a decoder, okay, a Mariner submarine decoder as a young man. The knowledge that he has had and the things that he had to go through, he was handpicked. He had a near-death experience or whatever you want to call it. He was, a lot of stuff was downloaded into him. An extremely knowledgeable person. Another researcher out there, another great patriot is Michael Jaco. That he, being a SEAL, all part of the Obama, or not the Obama, but the Osama bin Laden thing. He was on that crew that went in there. Here's a guy that, did 11 years? I don't know, totally 30 years between the SEAL teams and the CIA. You don't think he doesn't know what's going on? Of course he does. That's why I listen to him. Okay? And Kerry Cassidy, a deep investigative researcher on all forms of galactic, negative galactic, and the gators, the reptiles that, she's a whistleblower. And she's been attacked many, many times. So, yes, there's a lot of things that we see out there that we think is reality, and yet we're in a simulation. And that's all going to be proven very, very soon. Right. How you doing, Isa? The thing is, Quebec is part of humanity. End of story. They can still call themselves French Quebec, whatever, Quebecois. No problem. But you are a part of the Americas. End of story. And you will have that divine constitution blanketing your and protecting your divine rights, along with your children and your children's children. Nothing's going to change. It's just that we have a lot of mental illness and brainwashing that say, I want to stay Canada, I want to be in Canada. It's okay, take my house, tax me to death, poison me with food. It's okay, I'm still Canadian. How shallow-minded, right? Of course we're Canadian. I'll never give up my rights as a Canadian, but I want to have the divine constitution. I want the protection of the divine constitution that was all written out to all the states of America. I want that to represent me. You can call it whatever you want. I've got a picture of the original Bill of Rights of Canada, and you know, you got a court issue, whatever. Take that in there and say, "Have you read this one lately, Judge? Are you a corporation?" They say yes. They say, why are we talking? Because corporations aren't supposed to be talking to solvents. I'm not a corporation, and I'm certainly alive. I'm a living human being. I'm a living man. You're talking to a straw man, right? And because you're asking me for my ID, everything that you're writing down is in capital letters, and my name isn't in capital letters. So we have a misconception right off the get-go. The whole thing should be thrown out of freaking court. You wash with peroxide and vinegar Sunday evening, and yesterday I was burning up sitting in the sun. Well, yeah, so when you have to go out into the sun, then you put on coconut oil. Okay? You can buy coconut oil. It's in the stores. It says organic coconut oil. Put that on your skin, and that'll protect you from the sun. You're cleansing your body, okay? And then you go out in the sun. Listen, I get lots of sun every day too. But if I feel the heat coming on, which the sun is very intense, then I can just come in and get some coconut oil and stick it on. And that coconut oil will absorb. Do not put on sunscreen. Absolute, it's worse than putting on glyphosate. How you doing, Sean? Alex, there are some good shower heads and drinking water filters cheap out there, yeah. How do we know? Is there any type of, testimony on them? Okay, if you used it for many times and you do not smell, I mean, you have to know, like I got a nose for this stuff because I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't, so your senses are very much alive, and I can smell chlorine, I can smell fluorides, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so you have to use your own discernment. How you doing, Linda? Yes, Gaddafi was attacked as well because he was going on the gold standard, and Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi were very, very good for their people. Yes, they were tyrants, but then they said, well, the deep state says, well, they killed so many of their own people. No, they weren't their own people. They were killing the traitors. They always killed the traitors. But I mean, where do you go to a North African country like Libya and have all the families get $50,000 for marriage? You get another $50,000 for every child that they have. They get free medical, free schooling. They were allowed to pick up their shit in bags and go to the Americas and go to whatever college that was over there or university to do studies. It was all paid for by Muammar. Like, he knew how to take care of his people. And then they turned on him because the deep state went in there and brainwashed to liberate the people. Now look at it; it's a complete shithole because they never had a decent leadership in there. It's been run by the communists. Communists are losers. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I want to tell you a quick story. This goes back almost 40 years. And I'm not going to take a long time. I'm not going to bore you, okay? My father was a World War II veteran. He fought in Anzio, Canadian rifleman. He got back out, got into alcohol, whatever, and because he caught malaria over in Italy, whatever it was, he had stroke and whatever because of alcohol and whatever, okay? He was in Shaughnessy Hospital. And he called on me. I was up in Whitehorse, Yukon at the time, working the Anvil mines. And I got a message through my mom that was actually staying in Whitehorse at the time, saying, "Dad, your dad wants you to go down to Vancouver, Shaughnessy, and New Westminster and see him." I jumped on a plane with my girlfriend at the time. We went down there, and I got into Shaughnessy Hospital, and I seen him. He was all, very weak looking, still smoking cigarettes, whatever. And he talked to me about it, and he kept very, very light conversation. He said, do you own a Corvette? And he says, I heard that come in there. I seen the car come in. He says, was that you in that red car? I says, no, it wasn't. I came here by bus. But he says, well, okay, what kind of car you own? And at the time I owned a bit of a, I says, well, I live up in Whitehorse, Dad. I mean, you can't own anything except a truck up there. So he says, oh, okay. He says, well, if you live down here, would you ever own a Corvette? Because I guess he just loved Corvettes. So we had this little bit of a simple talk and whatever. And then he looks at me, and I'm looking at him. I'm only like 33 years old. He's looking at me, and he's staring at me. And I says, are you okay, Dad? He says, yeah. He says, I just want to tell you something. I said, what's that? He says, if you ever see commies, and the commies come in there and they take over, he says, kill them. He said, kill them all. He says, because I know what they did, and I know that they're all over the place. He says that the war that I went through, we never killed them all. They're still running around this world, and you have to know that at one time they will rise again. Now, that was what had to be said back then, and now we move forward to 40 years now. I'm 71 years old. What are we dealing with? He warned me when I was 33 years old that this bullshit was coming. So this is how far back. I mean, you stuff like this here, you just don't forget. You just remember these things because they are very high points of your life. Okay? So I just want to go out there and let people know that if, good people that do nothing, this is exactly what happens. And this is why I believe that on the 4th of July, when the commander went out there and did his 2.5-hour speech, wherever it came from, whatever, that he said, I am declaring total war, a total war, okay, on the communists. And all its crazy, mental illness minions that follow this, they're because they do not have God in their heart. They don't follow God. They want total control over everything, all over humanity. And the faster that we, God's people can recognize this and recognize the assault on absolute thousands and thousands of Christians that are happening right now, that are being performed by these commies in such places as the Congo or Uganda, killing thousands of Christian people. We're in a war. It's very simple to see that. Know the sickos that are out there. And it's very, very easy to identify them because they don't look normal. And all you have to do is say, walk up to them and say, hey, excuse me, do you believe in Christ? They'll either say yes or no, or just walk away, or they'll say, yes, I do, right? Well, you know that he's got love and God in his heart. But that's really that easy. What do you think? Why do you think that the Russians, and I knew that right away what Russia was trying to do, because the assault that was coming in from NATO and the alignment with the deep state that was in Russia, that was all being denazified. I could tell you that story as well, but maybe we'll leave that for another day. And it's all being recognized now. I mean, here we got Ukraine living high on the hog, doing whatever they're doing. But we know that Putin is wanting to denazify the NAZIs there, that is everywhere. Okay, and that's all being brought on by the Khazars of eastern Ukraine that have been battling and fighting with the Russian people for over 1,800 years. We've got to know our history in order to protect ourselves in the future. Well, I don't know. Yeah. How you doing, Sun Royal? How's things going? Yes. Gold or Himalayans. Baja gold? I'm not sure what that means. And Himalayan salt works as well. BG has highest mineral content. You know, I get my salt out of the Philippines. It comes right from the Philippine Sea. There's salt mines there and stuff like that. It's beautiful salt. I got iodine in it. It's got iodize, and it's okay to stick salt underneath your tongue and drink with water, because it basically, everything they told you is a lie. Just reverse it all. You need salt in there to help it put minerals in you, okay? Because it has almost 100 different types of minerals. Salt, yeah, clean salt, not the processed stuff, right? And it puts all the minerals back into your blood system, and it kills parasites in your guts as well, and in your blood. How you doing, Mike? Hey, Luce, Julia, Marvin. Hey, Raging Cajun, how are things going? Well, you can make your own beer, without all the contaminants in. That's fine. I mean, make your own wine. It's good wine out there, good homemade wine, if you want. I mean, Jesus drank wine. He was a cat that sat around the table and had food and a little bit of wine and talked to his disciples. And, we know for a fact that, Jesus walked this earth. It's proven. There's stuff out there that they tried to hide and cover up. And that thing I talked about yesterday about parting the Red Sea. They're finally allowed to go in there, and the archaeologists are going in there and diving down there and looking at this frickin' debris field from 2,000 years ago. Horse bones, body bones, old Roman helmets or Egyptian helmets and wheels of, brass wheels and everything. It was a whole 1.5 mile debris field down there, because they were chasing, God's people, being led by Moses, all of its evidence. It did happen. And you know what? Why did they say watch the water? We're going to watch the water. We're watching it right now. Look what's going on. Look at the storms in Alberta. Look at the flooding. Look at all the dams being busted and broken down because of the heavy rains that are in China right now. Not being reported on mainstream media. No, because they are mockingbird media designed to, entrench MK Ultra programming into the sleepers. The war is for your conscience. It's not a kinetic war, because they'll never win the kinetic war. What they're trying to do is put fear and lies in your brain. Home brew is best. Yeah, you do it if you want. I mean, if you're going to drink anything, at least drink it, drink your homemade stuff, right? Yes, exactly. How you doing, Kim? And Lori? Like I said, there's a lot of healing factor. People have got a lot of ailments right now. And the thing is with that, if you drink water, clean water with cloves and cinnamon, that's going to clear up a lot. It'll start flushing you out. 99.9% of all your ailments and disease and everything is because of parasites. Okay? And I'm not going to get into what is coming, and our life extension, and how really based on our telomeres that have been, and our DNA that has been destroyed by these reptiles. We're going to get all that back, and when they come back, our bodies will heal itself, and we will be lived hundreds and hundreds of years old. There's people out there that are, some old people out there living up to 160, 170, even 200 years old. There's one guy I just seen the other day, 300 years old. And, because in a lot of time he went in for, I think it was 20 years, he was living in a cave, doing all his meditation and his Buddha stuff. So, and that was up in the Himalayas. I'm just telling you what I see, what I read, and what the reports are. Don't believe anything that's on mainstream media. Don't believe anything that's on the TV. Cut your cable, and listen to things that you assimilate with. Question absolutely everything. Thank you very much for the best wishes. Yeah, appreciate it. So is it white vinegar and apple cider vinegar? Yeah, you can use both. Doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. Vinegar is vinegar. Vinegar is an antiseptic. Okay, basically it's a natural antiseptic. And, your body needs it to cleanse from all the poisons. Hydrogen peroxide has oxygen in it. Oxygen kills cancer. Oxygen kills parasites, which kills cancer or whatever, right? Natural soaps too, get rid of them. You don't know how natural they are. If you want to there's all kinds of ingredients to make your own soaps. And I know that baking soda and coconut oil, and there's some other ingredients, some lavender you can put in there, lavender oils. There's all kinds of stuff that you can make your own soaps out of. If you want soap. I particularly don't want to waste my time making the soaps to smell whatever I'm going to smell. If I want to smell something here, I can put some natural oil on this, and I can, put that, make myself smell pretty. Our animals are full of parasites. Put the clove water and cinnamon in their food. Or just get a jar, put it on the side, put the clove water in there. Clove is a natural parasite killer. Best I've ever seen so far. And I'm not, I don't have any stock in clove production, no. What about black soap from Africa? Are you talking about the black sour soap? I don't know. I don't know enough about that. I know what works for me. I know that I take, there's wherever this is here, and I've been using it because I enjoy it from the Philippines. Hang on a sec here. Yeah, this is Shilajit here, and I take that. That's for guy stuff, right? That's testosterone, but you got to watch it because my woman's in the Philippines, so I really gotta take that easy, right? But it gives you lots of good energy, right? But I like the sour salt, or I like the Shilajit, and I could buy that down there. I think it's about $7-8 for that canister. So it's not that expensive. Of course, everything that comes stateside or American, Canadian side, they're going to put 500% markup on it. How you doing, Cherry? Good to see you. How you doing, Luce? Or Luke? It's all right. Hey, Flash. Any questions? What about weed? Well, I mean, it's cannabis, whatever. I mean, it's a pain reliever. It's a cancer killer, whatever, how you want to take it, It comes from the ground, and anything that comes from the ground is God's medicine. So you just got to watch what they put into it afterwards, after it comes out. Who's handling it? Who's putting their contaminants into it, or their different type of chemicals? You got to watch that. I would not buy, if I was a weed smoker, I would not buy anything from the government. There's lots of government weed shops out there in Canada. I would not buy a damn thing, because they put poisons in that. They are very, very evil, very evil. Yeah. You have connective tissue disease that I'm on meds for. Okay, that's, so your tissues, you have weak tissue connection. Is that what you're saying? Okay, that's parasites. That's parasites. They're parasite. You got some type of parasite that's destroying your tenant and your tissues together. So you need clove water. Okay, and that will, and see how that works. Start drinking clove water. You're like I said, when you first start drinking the clove water, and like I have it with my cinnamon, you can have it with raw honey, a little bit of raw honey if you want to sweeten it up as a tea. You can drink it cold, you can drink it hot, whatever. But just go ahead and start drinking it, and just give me your results. You can never drink too much of it, because there's how many parasites and different types of parasites, microscopic, that we have in our body. Right? I mean, we don't know. And if you eat sushi or fish like my boy does, he loves his what do you call it? Those little shrimp. Jesus, man. I said to Mom, I said, listen, you make him start drinking that. I want that, him drinking it, not at school, but after school, because he can't be that far. If it goes, what kids are like, they'll go through their system very fast, and then they'll have a parasite explosion. But we have to do this to clean out our poisons. Eventually we'll have, frequencies, we're going to be able to have, I know some of the technology that's coming out right now, like I'll have a collar like this here, or on a collar, have a chain, and you'll have a frequency thing right here. And you just turn it on to whatever frequency you want, and frequency destroys parasites, because we are bodies of frequency. We're what? How much percentage of water? Okay, so, and you know how water, if you hit the frequency, the water will go like this, all the way down, because water has a memory. So we're full of water, right? Fluid, and we have that frequency. All we're doing with that frequency is tuning in our body. And that's all kind of come out. So you're just going to have these beautiful, crystalline, whatever they are, and they're going to have this, you want to put it on 336 or 442 or 432 or 575, whatever you want. You says, okay, well, this is, and we'll all have to learn how to operate these new technologies. Okay, I've got no time left. I've been warned. That's it for my live today. I want to thank everybody for joining, and